Friends, I come to you now at the other end of our great personal trial. Today was the last day of the summer reading program. Probably. The original email said that the end day was Monday, August 18th, which is not a day. So I'm assuming the Monday part was correct. And lo, I did finish a book and get its review in on exactly the last day. For cash. And lo, I also got my temporary crown removed and replaced with a real crown. And though my dentist assured me that it may actually be weeks before my tormented tooth stops being sore, it already feels so much better than that temporary tooth did. I think I can live with this. But indeed, there is cause for sorrow as well as joy, because I got my math wrong. I am happy to announce that for the first time since beginning these videos, I have failed summer reading program. I was 3 pages short. That basically means I'm off by like less than $1. Given that I spent most of my yesterday, a day in which I was incredibly tired from not having slept properly the previous night, and incredibly sore from my temporary tooth, and incredibly nervous over getting that temporary tooth taken out today, I could have done anything other than read a book for summer reading program, and I spent a lot of that reading time wondering if I was, in fact, doing a smart thing. I'm still not sure whether or not I did. Nevertheless, I did my best, and I finished a book yesterday. This is Decisive by Chip and Dan Heath. How to Make Better Choices in Life and Work. Now, you may recall that I picked this book because I have previously done a book by Chip and Dan Heath. I think it was Switch. And I quite liked it. But, my hopes were ill-founded. I found myself annoyed by this book basically immediately. And annoyed by this book basically immediately. And annoyed by this book, the book I picked up in an attempt to rectify my page numbering problem and give myself something else to read immediately. I was not very decisive about what book I was reading. I don't even remember why this annoyed me at this point, but it did, and it seemed harder to work through than the others. I did make a serious go at The Power of Habit. It actually covers some of the same case studies as Moonwalking with Einstein, but the fact of the matter is this uses neurological studies of habit forming and habit triggers, and a lot of examples of how advertising uses that to change people's daily routines in a way that benefits a company, and I felt really, really sleazy about that super fast. I was just uncomfortable. So, yeah, no, I went back to Chip and Dan Heath. It wasn't that annoying. Decisive is mostly a guide to how you make giant decisions, business-level decisions, or personal life decisions that are along the lines of, do I stay with this job or go to other job? You know, big things. This isn't an everyday decision-making kind of book. And yeah, the framework they give you is pretty good. Basically, their tack is, make sure you're considering more than 2 options. Ask yourself some basic questions like, can I do both? Or what would I do if neither of these were an option? Make sure you look at research and at people who have previously solved your problem to get yourself outside of your own narrow framework. Make sure you ask other people who aren't as involved. Make sure you know what your own personal goal is, the thing that's actually going to decide whether a decision is good for you or bad for you. And make sure you have a plan for if your decision succeeds or fails, because if you don't have those, then no matter how good a decision you made, you can fall flat. It's very good in that case. It's a whole lot of stuff to work through. Like I said, not particularly good for the everyday. But I think the very first few steps might be useful for everyday things, and I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to try and remember them. And those first 2 steps are, if it's a 2-pronged either-or decision, that should be a red flag. You should be looking for at least a couple more other options, or else you'll be putting way too much emphasis on the 2. The questions, can I do both? And what would I do if neither of these totally could happen, if they were totally impossible? As ways of finding what those third options are, I think all of those are pretty good shorthand things to digest. There's also stuff up in here about combating your own biases, which I mentioned because I think that's super important for all life. Did I already finish my thing? I may have already finished my thing. So let's see if I can pull something else to recommend to you for the right now, for the today. Have I even read anything new lately? I've gotten big into libraries because they don't require me to buy more bookshelves. Did I recommend this one? Sea Monsters on Medieval and Renaissance Maps by Chet Van Duzer. Like, this is not easy reading. This is essentially this is an academic work. It reads like an article, it cites things, but because it's about maps, it is also full of beautiful reproductions and references and just gorgeous and fascinating information about the use of monsters on maps. I find all of this totally fascinating, and of course, you could do a lot worse than owning something this beautiful. So, let's fail forward. It's gonna be months and months before I get that not quite $200 reward. I was being genuine when I said I'm interested in getting a dress and a snowball microphone with it. But who knows? It does seem like the best course to spend it on a book, don't you think? I will be seeing you in a summer wrap-up video. I don't know what it will include, but I certainly hope it will include something more than me sitting on a couch bitching about books. I really hope I can edit some of these fragments of conversation together, because I cannot speak a straight sentence right now. It's just not happening. I am done. I am done for the day. If at all possible, I would be done for the week, but it's Monday, so I'm not. Tomorrow I think I have like a meeting of some kind, and we're in crunch right now. And I am so going to buy Ethiopian food as a treat for myself. I am 100%, I need it. And oh my god. But today's done. Nothing else. No editing, no posting. Maybe I'll draw something, but out. Done. I'll see you again.